Hello, parents, and happy October. Can you believe it's October already? It seems like just yesterday we were talking about first day of school and settling in and all that, and it's October, and soon you and I will be together in person for conferences. That's going to be amazing. All right. So I want to say thank you to all of you for doing a great job with time and effort. And the reason why I say this is because the children in the classroom are saying things like, hey, Miss Haig, this is going to take time and effort. Or, Miss Haig, this is going to take some time and probably some effort. And they're not just getting that from me. They're getting that definitely from you. So yes, good job. Keep it up. This is wonderful. Yes, that's exactly what we do. We are going to continue talking about time and effort because it's one of the most important things for not just school success, but really for life success. We live in a world of instant gratification, and your children especially live in a world of instant gratification. They were born into a world where they don't know what it's like to, stand in line and wait to go through security at an airport without, having something to look at and something to watch and this and that. I mean, even unfortunately because of COVID, your children had preschool basically online. So your children have been living in a world of technology their entire life. And technology, movies, videos, video games, all of that are very much instant gratification. And they bombard children with images and ideas and sounds and noise and everything else. And it doesn't leave a lot of time for reflection and time to, kind of be at peace, in other words. And that's the thing that we want to work on this year with the time and effort. I have never, ever had a third grade conference all the way back to when I worked at Lang Ranch. I was one of the teachers that opened up that school. And way back then, in the early 2000s, before 9/11, I was actually at Lang Ranch for 9/11, believe it or not. So way before 9/11, yeah, that long ago, my dears. Parents were still coming to me for conferences and saying, how can I get my child not to rush? I think it's just a third grade thing. I think that it's a maturity thing, and it's just kind of where third graders are. Third graders are very outgoing, and they're great starters, but not great finishers. That's just kind of who they are as people, and it's what I love about them. Every third grade teacher loves the energy and excitement that third graders have. It's the thing that makes them the most awesome people in the world, in my opinion. I've never had a fifth grade conference where the parents were asking me about rushing. I've only had third grade conferences about that. So know that it's kind of comes with the territory. But nonetheless, we really want to work on it because we want them to take the time that it takes and to put in the effort and know that things that are important require both time and effort. So let's talk about this week and how you're going to foster that. This week, we're in the middle of our reading unit. So there's no spelling this week. They get the week off the spelling. So I'm assigning this amazing book that's an old-fashioned book. So some of the kids aren't going to like it very much because they're used to, again, this kind of book, right? But I don't know about you, but for some of you out there, Pride and Prejudice, pretty amazing book. Tale of Two Cities, pretty amazing book. The Stranger by Camus, pretty amazing book. There's some pretty amazing books back there that are pretty old-fashioned and are just amazing. For me, I love Beverly Cleary, and your kids are going to read Beverly Cleary this year, and not very many kids know about Beverly Cleary anymore. I would imagine most of you read her when you were young, and you loved Ramona the Pest and things like that. And the kids today have a hard time reading her because it's about relationships, and relationships take, say it with me, time and effort. Yeah. So we're going to be reading a book that's going to prepare your kids for other books that take time and effort. And that's This Bears on Hemlock Mountain. That the pictures are super old-fashioned, and it's about time long ago, but it's a great story. And it's the story of a young boy who discovers himself and learns that by doing hard things, he is able to achieve more than he ever thought he could do. And I think that that's what we're trying to teach our kids, right? That avoiding hard things, we're never going to get any better at doing hard things. We got to do hard things, and we have to have stamina and perseverance to get through it. We have to put in the time and the effort, stamina and perseverance, right? So what I want you to do is, this book will be easy for some of your kids. So for those kids that are easy, have them read it by themselves. Say, you know what? I want you to go read that by yourself. Go read it to your stuffed animals out loud, and then I'll see you when you're done. And then have them read it to you. That way they've read it twice, once by themselves, once with you. For those of you whose children struggle a little bit more with reading, have them read it just out loud to you once, and then maybe have them go back and read sections that were tricky. They are going to have questions that go with it. And I really want you to be very proactive this time with their questions, because I'm noticing on some of their reading tests, they're not doing as well as they should. I'm sure some of you are going to look at those reading grades, and the first thing you're going to say to me at conferences is, why? My child's an amazing reader. Why are they getting this grade? It's because they're not able to communicate their reading to me. Not this way, but this way in writing, because that's the bridge. That's what third grade is we are bridging from kids just talking about books to kids being able to write about it. And that's what they're going to do really for the rest of their life, is that most everything is you write about it. So make sure that you really talk about expectations with this. If you have a child who does really messy printing, explain that that's not going to work for this, that they're getting graded on how well they print. So they need to put in more time, slow it down. Set a timer. It really works. For kids to take forever, you need to say to them, you have 5 minutes to get this done. And in 5 minutes, this is going to take more than that. But, set your timer for whatever it is and say, when your timer dings, if it's not done, that's it. We're not doing anything more. You'll have to finish it over the weekend, so that they learn how to get going. And for your kids who finish too quickly, you set a timer and say, if you finish early, you're just going to sit here in silence until the timer dings. And most of those kind of children do not want to sit in silence for 3 minutes. That will feel like 300 years to them. So they'll slow it down because they'd rather be busy than have to sit in silence. So get them to slow it down. Get them to do neat printing. Spelling needs to be correct. Tell the children, look how to spell the word in the book. It's most of them are in there. And you check their spelling and make sure it's right. And if it's wrong, don't just fix it. Talk to them about why you're fixing it. What's the pattern? How does this work in English? Complete thoughts. Some of these things are short answers, so they don't need to be complete thoughts, but things need to be in sentences, or they're filling in stuff. It should make sense. Make sure it does. Read it to them. They're only writing in pencil. We're not writing in pen, marker, crayon, none of that stuff. Only pencil, period. That way they can erase it when they make a mistake. And make sure that every sentence starts with a capital and ends with a period. This group really has a hard time with that. Teach them time and effort to use a pencil and say, where's the beginning of the sentence? Show it to me. Do you have a capital there? Now show me the end. Did you put a period? And a lot of times they're like, oh, I forgot. Say, yeah, eventually you're going to need to learn to do this by yourself. But in the beginning, teach them. Point to the beginning, point to the end. Point to the beginning, point to the end. Don't be the editor that just grabs their paper and does it for them. Sit with them and show them how to do it. I know it's a pain. I really do. And I know you don't have time. But the time you spend now will pay off in 4th and 5th grade when they don't need your help at all. In 4th and 5th grade, your reward is coming then. When I used to teach choir, my mentor always used to say to me that my advanced choir, my chamber choir, was my reward for teaching the beginning choirs well. That if you teach your beginning choirs really well, they grow into that chamber choir, that you don't have to do anything, and they just sound amazing. Well, if you really spend your time helping them correct, in 4th and 5th grade, you won't have to do very much because they'll know how to do it. Otherwise, in 4th and 5th grade, you're helping them, and that takes forever because it's a lot more work. So you're doing this week. It's going to take them time and effort. We're supposed to do 20 minutes of reading, and then their writing should be another 10 or 15 minutes because it takes the place of their spelling. And then they have math on top of that, which there isn't that much math. It should be pretty easy this week. Speaking of math, on Wednesday, they're going to do math test corrections. I want you to sit with them when they do test corrections and look for the places where they rushed, because the children who missed, for the most part, rushed. I pace them through this, and I even push them in the direction of the right answer. This was not done all by themselves. They got a fair amount, I would say 50% help on this test because it's the beginning. And so I kind of walk them through it and pace them with it. But you'll see that some of them had the right answers and just copied it wrong. Those are the kinds of mistakes that you really want to talk about, the idea that they were rushing and that they put in the effort, but then they didn't take the time at the end. There were 3 children that were the last ones finished, and they were the last ones finished by about maybe 7 minutes. 7 minutes after everybody else had finished. All 3 of them got the 100% in the class. So really have that conversation when you're looking at things that they missed. And when they go, oh man, and then kind of hammer it home with like, yeah, you've got to slow down, babe. You know this, you're smart, you've got this. But you have to, on a test, you've got to kind of prove it. All right, last but not least, behavior contracts, okay? We're switching things up if you've noticed. Oh, well, and I guess I should have it right side up, right? We're switching things up if you noticed to active learning. So really kind of look at their grades. And if their reading isn't where it is, tell them that you want them to have a goal in active reading. And what that means is that when they're reading, they're really paying attention. In my reading groups, I have been showing the kids how to use Post-it notes and take a Post-it note and write like on the Post-it note, like what this is about. Like for the National Mall, George Washington Monument, we put it on the George Washington Monument. Lincoln Memorial, put it on that. So that when it comes up in a reading test, they can kind of look through their book and they have Post-it notes already in it. It's a great technique. We use it in junior high, to be honest with you. But I think it's never too early to learn how to do it right. So if you've got a great reader who just zooms through it, say, what was important about this thing? Write it down for them on a Post-it note. Say, put that in there. When you take your test, look at your Post-it note. See if that helps you get the right answer. So that they're getting used to, we have to write a little extra. The better reader we are, the more that it's expected of us. We got to write a little extra. Again, a little more effort. Put a little bit more time in it. Are they raising their hand? If they're not raising their hand, they need to be doing that. Writing, a lot of the kids have written that they want active writing goals because they feel like they're still struggling in writing. And I personally think this class has grown like in writing. I've really seen a difference, And they still don't love it, but they won't love it till they're good at it. And my goal is by the end of the year that they like to write. And if they don't like to write, at least it's easy. The more you do it, when you can do hard things, your brain learns how to do hard things. But your brain only learns how to do hard things by doing it. Gabriel Medina, right? I love him. I think he's an amazing surfer. He learned to surf by surfing every day. He got on the board, paddled out, practiced a lot by himself. He had some private lessons, obviously, when he was little, but not too many. He did a lot of that work by himself, on the board, practicing over and over and over till he got it right. And that's what this active learning is. Practicing over and over and over again. In math, you want to be an active learner in math, raise your hand, participate. Make sure that you're writing in your math book. Do a little extra, that kind of thing. When your kids want to be an active learner in math and they already have an A in math, don't let them do that. Have them pick something that's hard for them. Because that's how our brain learns. By doing hard things, our brain gets stronger. It's like lifting weights for your brain. It's how you get stronger is by doing hard things. So encourage them to pick what's hard. For those of you looking at grades and you're freaking out, remember we don't have very many grades in there yet. We're only halfway there. So if their reading grade isn't great, then, really say to them, like, make that a goal that this week we're going to do a really great job in reading so you do better in the next reading test because you need the points. And by the way, this is their reading grade. So they can get an A in this because you can help them. This is like the thing that like this week, everybody can get like full points and more. They can get extra points this week because you guys are helping them at home. There's no reading grade, there's no reading test this week in class. It's this. So here's your opportunity. This is your moment. And for the math, if you don't like their math score, go through do those test corrections. And, the night before, there's a thing in their book that's a practice test. Go through it and do it with them. If we've done it in class, ask them, show me the 4 hardest problems. Let's practice them. There's nothing wrong with that. I think learning how to study is important. and setting goals. There was a girl in my class right now, she's in this class, that said to me that she practiced that math for the math test like 3 days leading up to it. And by the way, she did get 100%. She was one of the last ones done. And she got 100%. And she's going to be so proud of herself because she told me it was a goal for her to do well on her math test because she needed to get more math points. And that was a goal, and she achieved it. I think when she gets her math test, she's going to be pretty excited, pretty stoked. I think setting those kind of goals are important with kids. We don't want to make it all about grades, but I also think setting goals is important. Saying like, what do you think about this? Do you want to fix it? Let's talk about how. Can I help you? How can I support you? How can I support you here at home? What can I do to help you at home so in class you do better? And I think that that's a good thing, and to do that kind of support with those kids. Getting all A's, there's no need for that. But if they look at their reading grade and they have like a C or a D and they're like, I'm a better reader than that, there's time to get on this and ask them, what can I do to support you here at home? What do you feel like you're missing? When we look through your stuff that Ms. Haig's sending home, how can I support you? What can I do for you here at home? How can we work on this? And, I think that that's the thing is like, as a parent, we want to set ourselves up as a support system, not as the answers, but as a support system. So these are all the things for this week. Time and effort, looking for how, ask your child, how can I support you? What can I do to help you in this? And when your child comes home, it's like, it's hard. This is hard. Make sure you validate that and say, yeah, it is. Third grade is hard. It's the transition into upper grades. Fourth grade will be easy because third grade's hard. And, you're lifting weights now to get your brain strong so that fourth and fifth grade aren't the jump that this year is. And it really shouldn't be. If they do the work this year, fourth grade for the most part is pretty easy usually if they do the work in third grade. Fourth grade's kind of a year where they can kind of consolidate everything they learn in third. And then in fifth grade, they're just really working on independence, which you're already going to work on by going through and not doing the work for them, but by making them do the work. They'll already have that independence already done. All right. Have a great week. Make sure you check grades. They're really important so that when that progress report comes home next week, you're not like, I had no idea. Check those grades. I'm going to send paperwork home also this weekend, so you'll have a chance to see how we're doing and what we're doing, and all the good things. All right. Have a great week. And as always, if you need anything, I'm here. All right. Keep it up. Time and effort. All right. Bye.